Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chairman of the Atlantic Council and the International Advisory Board, Lieutenant General Brent Scowcroft.
Good evening to you all, and welcome to this gala. As Fred Kemp says, I am the permanent interim chairman of the council, and you can tell how closely I am in charge since I don't even have the proper dress on tonight. Anyway, I am so enormously proud of what the Atlantic Council has accomplished, what it has become, and what it has become is one of the world's premier international relations organizations. However, I must say in my wildest dreams, I never would have predicted the Atlantic Council would be playing Broadway. Joking aside, it's my great honor to welcome you to the 4th Annual Global Citizens Award Dinner. We are most grateful that you've gathered here tonight to celebrate individuals who have made and continue to make significant positive contributions to our world. Our honorees tonight are the President of the Republic of Poland, Bronisław Komorowski, Her Majesty Queen Rania Al Abdullah of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, and the world-renowned conductor Seiji Ozawa. Each one of them has contributed significantly to making a better world, as you all know. And it's so often the case with such role models. Each of them has inspired thousands of others to rise above day-to-day challenges to seek historic opportunities. Our awardees also underscore the remarkable growth in the global reach and influence of the Atlantic Council at a time when the world sorely needs its work. At the end of the Cold War, this organization experienced some difficulties, and like many Cold War institutions, it was in search of a mission. It is now one of the most vital and dynamic organizations of its kind, which is a good thing because the world is sorely in need of its good works. I'm also delighted to have with us tonight two of my colleagues from the National Security Advisor Mafia, Henry Kissinger and Zbig Brzezinski. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Atlantic Council President and CEO, Fred Kemp. Break a leg, Fred.
Thank you for that kind introduction, General Scowcroft. And yes, we are playing Broadway with all of its traffic congestion as well. Thank you for all being here. General Scowcroft, all the world's a stage, and I just wish there were more players like you. As many in the audience know, the Atlantic Council chairman, who presided over last year's Global Citizen Awards, Chuck Hagel, is now serving the United States as its 24th Secretary of Defense. We're enormously proud of our former chairman and his contributions. Public service always requires personal sacrifice, but at the sort of difficult times we face today, both geopolitically and fiscally, that is even more the case. I think these awards really point also to the sacrifices that are made by our public servants. So please join me in saluting our former chairman, Secretary Chuck Hagel, and wishing him well. No one knows more about public service than General Scowcroft. He generously volunteered to step in as interim chairman, and he is right, our staff likes to call him, with some reminiscence of North Korea, the permanent interim chairman. General Scowcroft, thank you for your extraordinary leadership, not only at the Atlantic Council, but for your country as the only in this mafia to have served 2 presidents as National Security Advisor, and for your service to our alliance and to the world. I count myself lucky to be one of the many who have benefited from your wise counsel. But good evening in particular to our distinguished honorees. President of Poland, Bronisław Komorowski, Her Majesty Queen Rania of Jordan, congratulations on this evening. We also will later welcome Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut, chairman of the European Subcommittee of the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee. He is at great sort of sacrifice leaving Washington. Of course, a lot of us think it's no sacrifice to leave Washington at all. But he'll be joining us later in the program. Unfortunately, Maestro Seiji Ozawa at the last moment was prohibited by his doctor from traveling, but we'll have a touching message from him later. We wish him well. His daughter, Sarah Ozawa, is here tonight and will accept the award on his behalf. And then later in the evening, one of Maestro Ozawa's finest students, the brilliant cellist Owen Young, will perform in his honor, having joined us from the Boston Symphony Orchestra. Thank you, Sarah Ozawa, and thank you also, Owen Young. Prompted by the characteristic vision of Victor Chu, the Atlantic Council and its International Advisory Board launched the Global Citizen Awards 4 years ago to recognize the unique accomplishments of extraordinary individuals who embody the notion of global citizenship. As the UN General Assembly convenes this week in the shadow of the Syrian carnage, the concept of global citizenship takes on special meaning. At a time when world leaders are grappling with the biggest shift of power and influence since the 19th century, and historic inflection points are always full of perils. And these are made all the more dramatic by the unprecedented speed of technological and societal change. The actions of unique and determined leaders have outsized influence. So let me thank all of you for joining us this evening. Former heads of state and government, former and acting cabinet ministers, business executives, former and current military 4-stars, media leaders, civil society leaders from around the world. Many of you have traveled far. Thank you for being here. Just as the Atlantic community must adapt, and adapt quickly, to meet the considerable challenges of the 21st century, we at the same time have been working to transform the Atlantic Council, to expand our work, to extend our global reach, and to deepen the quality and the influence and the wisdom of what we do. It's not because we think we as a single organization can change the world. It's not even because we think the Atlantic community and its like-minded global friends can solve all the world's problems. But we are convinced that our common cause is a precondition for dealing with most of what we face. We last month moved into new headquarters in Washington, D.C., and I must say there's a new spring in the step of the staff of the Atlantic Council in this light-drenched, large windows headquarters with a state-of-the-art conference center, real-time multimedia systems, and communications capabilities. Next week, we will begin operations of our 10th program, the Adrian Arsh Latin American Center, expanding the Atlantic community to this dynamic and fast-changing region where, when we looked at a map, we discovered the Atlantic shores also washed up on its, the Atlantic Ocean also washed up on its shores. Our board member, Adrian Arsht, is here tonight. Thank you, Adrian, for your vision. Let me mention just two other of our many initiatives, but very briefly because they are relevant to this evening's awardees. And I also have just a little bit of news. Your Majesty, in 2 short years, the Rafik Hariri Center for the Middle East at the Atlantic Council has become Washington's premier place for tracking and advancing the transitions of the Middle East and North Africa. And we know this isn't an overnight challenge. We know we have to stick with it. We are driven by Baha Hariri's concept of convergence, the coming together of the region, and not just that region, in terms of values and economic cooperation with North America and Europe. Thank you, Baha. President Komorowski, the Atlantic Council has also stepped up our work in your part of the world, and we'll do more this year and into the future. This June, in conjunction with the 25th anniversary of Poland's democracy, of Poland's miracle, we are organizing the 4th Wrocław Global Forum, where we gather Central Europeans to reflect on issues of democracy, economy and energy, and security with their global partners. Given President Obama's speech this week on civil society, we will put a special emphasis this year on the democracy side of the agenda that has always been there. I'm delighted this evening that Wrocław's remarkable Mayor Rafał Dudkiewicz is with us, who has been such a champion of this initiative. Thanks also to Maciej Witucki, who is here and who has animated the concept as the Atlantic Council's board member in Poland. And here's the bit of news. The Atlantic Council, before the end of this year, will open up its second overseas office. The first one has been in Istanbul, and we'll open that office in Warsaw. We're going to focus on Central Europe and all its dynamism, not only for what it stands for us, but also as a model that it could be for other transition democracies where we have enormously successful role models. We're particularly grateful to Jan Kulczyk, also here as an International Advisory Board member of the Atlantic Council, whose fertile mind, entrepreneurial spirit, and creative thinking about Central Europe and its global significance is driving and helping these ambitious Atlantic Council initiatives. Thank you very much, Jan. Finally, thanks to all Atlantic Council board members, International Advisory Board members, and in particular Atlantic Council staff who are here tonight, I am proud to work with such a committed community. Yet it is only through individuals like those we honor tonight that we can be truly successful. We really are nothing without the people in leadership who share in our vision and give it expression, and who inspire us to greater vision. Our honorees tonight are such individuals, joining a remarkable line of previous honorees, including Nobel Peace Prize laureates Henry Kissinger and Aung San Suu Kyi. It's going to be wonderful to have Dr. Kissinger here tonight to introduce Queen Rania. IMF Managing Director Christine Lagarde, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, the late Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik Hariri, the renowned musician and producer Quincy Jones, and World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab. This is an incredible community of previous awardees. We've set the bar incredibly high for this award, and we're incredibly honored to add these 3 new awardees to this impressive list. It's now my great pleasure to introduce Victor Chu, whose vision gave rise to this initiative. Whether he is the champion of a low-cost airline in Japan, congratulations, by the way, Victor, on 68 flights a day. And I don't know if there are other airline executives in the room, but profit in your second year of operations is almost unheard of in that industry. Whether you're starting an energy efficiency investment fund in Singapore, whether you're expanding the Lulu Guinness brand in the United States, or serving with your intellectual precision the Atlantic Council. You personify the notion of global citizenship with your fertile mind, your consistent friendships, your collaborative spirit, and your tireless commitments. Please welcome to the stage Victor Chu.
Presidents, Your Majesty, Your Excellencies, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are again for the fourth time. Brent mentioned the notion of mafia, and I think many of you have joined me and Fred to become the Atlantic Council Mafia for the Global Citizen Award. It is wonderful to see so many of us coming back again to honor distinguished awardees and recognize their work, ranging from their wonderful contribution in integrating Europe, helping the underprivileged, bridging the religious divide, and also promoting the world of music harmony, educating young musicians. We are very privileged to have three excellent individuals who personifies global leadership and global citizenship with us. Major problems of today and tomorrow are essentially global. They required global partnership, global citizenship, and global leadership. And here we are at the Atlantic Council, we're playing our part in promoting that initiative. The notion of partnership beyond borders, beyond your own sectors, to make the world a better place. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for supporting us, and let's work hard to make sure the Atlantic Council will grow even stronger, better and better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Victor. Senator Chris Murphy was to introduce Dr. Zbigniew Brzezinski. He'll join us later, and I know he planned to speak of his own deep Polish heritage, which of course is evident with the name Murphy. But actually, he does have a large Polish history, and he will speak about that when he comes. But Dr. Brzezinski, I was quite happy to step in and introduce you on his behalf. You have inspired countless Atlanticists over the years with your strategic and precise mind, your rapier-like intellect, which pierces all weakly constructed thoughts, and your hunger for knowledge and your capability at achieving wisdom on the most complicated of subjects. I will say one thing personally that I haven't said before in a public audience. In 1976, as a young student at Columbia University, the Graduate School of Journalism, School of International Affairs, I signed up for a course by Dr. Brzezinski, and I remember attending a couple of sessions and being so incredibly inspired that I'm sure it led to my conversion to become a Cold Warrior. The only bad thing was that in December, you were summoned by President Carter to become National Security Advisor, so I didn't get all the fullness of your teaching capability, but I did turn to your textbook, and it inspired me for many weeks thereafter. But I am just one of thousands who have been inspired by you. So, Dr. Brzezinski, thank you for that. Thank you for your continued contributions, and it's our honor to welcome you to the stage to introduce President Bronisław Komorowski.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, and of course, most importantly, President Komorowski. On behalf of the Atlantic Council, I'm proud to be able to present today its annual Global Citizen Award to Bronisław Komorowski, the very successful president of the very successful Poland. The award as you have already heard, honors those rare individuals whose leadership inspires others to pursue lives of extraordinary public service and thus improve the state of the world. Previous recipients, it has been noted, include 2 American presidents, a German chancellor, a Burmese human rights leader, a Lebanese prime minister, as well as distinguished others. During the 20th century, however, there were few moments when it could be said that Poland was blessed by having both a successful president and by being a secure and economically successful democracy. 2 world wars rolled back and forth across its territory, prompting unspeakable cruelties. It was the object of aggression by Hitlerism and Stalinism. It was the victim of imposition from abroad of a fanatical ideology alien to its own traditions and aspirations. Yet today, Poland is indeed a successful democracy, an important member of NATO, a battle-tested ally of America. It is listed among the top economic performers in the European Union, and it is led by a president who knows how to mediate, conciliate, inspire trust, heal social wounds, and reach out to Poland's eastern neighbors. If Ukraine becomes a partner in the European vocation, its democratic commitment, and consequently it is later followed by Russia, it will be also thanks to Poland's current policies of Eastern outreach and accommodation. And Mr. President, your personal leadership in these efforts to embrace Europe's East is truly admirable and geostrategically important for the future of the West as a whole. At the same time, Poland is also a strong advocate of and participant in collective security for Central Europe. Having stood by America in its recent combat engagements, Poland hopes for reciprocity through more visible US participation in the enhancement of Central European security. Central Europeans, and especially the Balts, have been alarmed lately by Russian military maneuvers held not long ago in adjoining Belarus, which not only targeted Central Europe, but these maneuvers even culminated in simulated nuclear attacks on a Central European capital. That is why Poland, as well as the Central European region, continue to hope for a more demonstrative US role in the collective NATO defensive exercise, first of its kind, currently scheduled for Central Europe. Let us never forget that the future of the West depends on greater political, economic, and security cohesion between America and Europe. If America and Europe can expand their ties and preserve their interdependent security, the Atlantic community will set an example for other parts of the world where turmoil and conflict loom so large. And you, Mr. President, know better than most that an intelligent and purposeful Atlantic community is the essential foundation of genuine global harmony. It is with these sentiments that I now am privileged to present to you, Mr. President, the Atlantic Council's Global Citizen Award.
Stand up, please. And your headsets, please. Stand up, please. Please be standing, please.
Bardzo dla mnie i podwójnie przyjemne i ważne to, że z Pana rąk. Bardzo dziękuję najserdecznie.
Pani to przejmie.
Panie. Szanowny Panie Przewodniczący, drodzy Państwo, chciałem bardzo podziękować Panu Fryderykowi Kempke i całej Atlantyckiej Radzie za bardzo cenne dla mnie wyróżnienie. Serdecznie dziękuję także Panu Profesorowi Zbigniewowi Brzezińskiemu za miłe, ważne dla mnie słowa. One już same stanowią wielkie wyróżnienie. Jest to dla mnie tym bardziej ważne, że mogę to wyróżnienie przyjąć w tak zacnym gronie, także razem z królową Jordanii i panem Ozałą. Chciałem powiedzieć, że jest dla mnie szalenie ważne to, że mogę potraktować to wyróżnienie jako gest dobrej pamięci o całym pokoleniu polskiej Solidarności, wielkiego ruchu, który przyniósł i Polsce, i naszej części Europy upragnioną wolność. Serdecznie dziękuję więc w imieniu wszystkich, którzy tworzyli to pokolenie wielkiej zmiany w Polsce. Traktuję to wyróżnienie również jako dobrą pamięć, gest pamięci w stosunku do zawsze mniej licznych niż wielkie ruchy społeczne, jaką była Solidarność, mniej licznego grona rewolucjonistów pierwszej godziny. Bo tak tuż się układały losy polskie, że co niektórzy przynajmniej prezydenci przez te ostatnie 25 lat gdzieś zawsze mieścili się w kategorii rewolucjonistów pierwszej godziny. Serdecznie za to dziękuję. To jest dla mnie okazja, by powiedzieć parę słów o tym, jak my widzieliśmy i widzimy wolność, jak my widzieliśmy i widzimy naszą rolę w Europie, naszą rolę w świecie, także w zakresie relacji polsko-amerykańskich. Przyjmując dzisiaj to wyróżnienie tu w Nowym Jorku, pragnę zapewnić, że dla ludzi mojego pokolenia wolność zawsze była połączona znakiem równości ze Stanami Zjednoczonymi Ameryki Północnej. Ta pełna identyfikacja jest efektem i naszej niełatwej historii, o której wspomniał pan profesor Brzeziński, jak i osobistych często emocji. Mój stosunek do Ameryki, do wolności, która była synonimem, czy Ameryka była synonimem wolności, to jest zarówno wspomnienie własnego dzieciństwa, wzruszenia mego ojca, który pokazywał szosę na południu Polski, w pobliżu granicy polsko-czeskiej, po której podobno, tylko podobno, szły w 1945 roku amerykańskie czołgi armii generała Pattona, która zatrzymała się w nieodległym Piliźnie na terenie Czech. Ten szczególny stosunek do Ameryki i zrozumienie, że jest ona ojczyzną wolności, to także wspomnienie z późniejszego okresu, kiedy obecny prezydent Polski siedział w więzieniu razem ze zwykłymi kryminalistami jako więzień polityczny. Mam taką ulubioną anegdotę, która wiele opowiada o Polsce i o stosunku Polaków do wolności i do Stanów Zjednoczonych. Pewnego razu siedziałem w więzieniu razem ze zwykłymi przestępcami, którzy zainteresowani byli działaczami politycznymi, wyrażali swoistą solidarność na tej zasadzie, że oni też są za wolnością, co jest rzeczą oczywistą i zrozumiałą. Tak myśli każdy więzień. Ale kiedy opowieść o planach, zamysłach, nadziejach tych zwykłych kryminalistów, które się wiązały z możliwością ewentualnego odbicia więźniów politycznych, co oczywiście nie wchodziło w grę w najmniejszym nawet stopniu, padło bardzo ważne zdanie Janka Szelonga, dwumetrowej wysokości, dwumetrowego wzrostu, zwykłego bandyty, który powiedział: pamiętajcie, jak wasi przyjdą was odbić, to najpierw klawisza w łeb, potem porywamy samochód i do Ameryki. To jest anegdota prawdziwa, rodem z więzienia, ale ona ujawnia nie tylko pokład jakiejś nostalgii za wolnością, typowe dla każdego więźnia, ale również to, że Ameryka kojarzyła się nawet Jankowi Szelongowi z wolnością. On nawet nie wiedział, że po drodze jest Ocean Atlantycki, że nie da się do Ameryki dojechać samochodem, ale wiedział, że Ameryka to wolność. I pragnę powiedzieć, że miałem trzecie takie wspomnienie, wiąże się z moją wizytą w Stanach Zjednoczonych jako wiceministra obrony narodowej z ramienia Solidarności, gdy w roku 1991 byłem w Norfolk. Zwiedzałem bazę marynarki wojennej i nie odważałem się nawet marzyć o tym, żeby Polska była cząstką systemu natowskiego. Nie odważałem się marzyć, że to jest realne tak szybko, że możemy mieć potężnego amerykańskiego sojusznika. Dzisiaj również byłem w Norfolk, byłem na tym samym lotniskowcu i z dumą i z wdzięcznością myślałem o tym, jak wiele udało się uzyskać na drodze ku wolności i poprzez wolność. Polacy starają się odgrywać rolę istotną w naszej części Europy i w ramach Sojuszu Północnoatlantyckiego. Staramy się w imię starych polskich zasad, gdzie mieści się tradycja walki za naszą i waszą wolność, którą realizował także i Tadeusz Kościuszko i Kazimierz Pułaski tutaj w Stanach Zjednoczonych. Staramy się pozostać wierni tej zasadzie i łącząc ją z postawą solidarności realizować poprzez nasze zaangażowanie w wolność innych, wolność Ukrainy, demokracji na Ukrainie i innych krajów na wschód od Unii Europejskiej i od granicy natowskiej. To jest nasze polskie zobowiązanie wynikające z przekonania, że sami odzyskując wolność, mamy zobowiązania wobec innych, którzy o tej wolności, stabilizacji, o demokracji, o wolnym rynku marzą. Rzeczywiście w przyszłym roku będzie 25-lecie odzyskania przez Polskę wolności. Będziemy to wielkie wydarzenie świętowali, ale jednocześnie będziemy żyli przekonaniem, że z tytułu odzyskanej wolności przez Polskę i reszcie świata się coś dobrego od nas należy. Jestem pewien, że stoją przed nami wszystkimi następne wyzwania, następne wielkie zadania, do których trzeba zaliczyć i zbliżenie pomiędzy narodami, trudne pojednanie z sąsiadami. Dla Polski to wielkie wyzwanie rosyjskie, to także wielkie zadanie ukraińskie, ale to także i budowanie trwałych podstaw dla lepszego świata, jakim jest poszerzanie współpracy gospodarczej, politycznej w całym obszarze euroatlantyckim. Jestem więc przekonany, że odzyskana 25 lat temu wolność będzie procentowała jak w najlepszy kapitał w najlepszym amerykańskim banku. Dziękuję bardzo.
President Bronisław Komorowski, former political prisoner, President of Poland, thank you for honoring us with that important message about freedom, democracy, and what the past means for the future. At this point, enjoy your dinner break, or as we would say in Broadway, intermission, and we'll join the awards after the break when we'll honor Queen Rania of Jordan. Thank you.